Again, and thanks for joining us on TVC News, and we wish you compliments of the season. We begin in Sokoto State, where the Nigerian military authorities have provided details of the airstrike targeting Lakurawa terrorists in the state, which inadvertently resulted in the deaths of 10 civilians. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, said in a news conference at the defense headquarters that painstaking efforts were being made using intelligence, reconnaissance and surveillance in picking the target before the strike on Christmas Day. Meanwhile, he also dismissed claims by the Nigerian junta that Nigeria is being used as a French staging post to destabilize the Sahelian country.
3 days after a coordinated military operation in 2 communities in Sokoto resulted in the death of 10 people whose identities are now being investigated to determine if they were terrorists or civilians. Director of Defense Media Operations says painstaking efforts were made using intelligence, reconnaissance and surveillance to pick the target identified as Lakurawa camps.
That operation will have taken place earlier. But because of the painstaking measures that we know that we need to put in, we decided to hold it to make sure that those that were seen at that location were indeed terrorists, Lakurawa terrorist group. And we did that by sending human intelligence to confirm. And they got back to us and confirmed that, yes. And it was thereafter that we carried out a joint operation, a combined, synchronized operation with the Air Force and ground forces.
He explains how the unintended targets lost their lives.
Because one of the targets was a logistic base of the terrorists in the community. When I talk of logistic base, I'm talking of arm cartridges and pole that were kept there. So naturally, when the munition hits that, there will be secondary explosion arising from that, which will generate, other things flying in the air, which was what led to the death of about 10 persons that were reported.
While the outcome of investigation is being awaited, the military authorities also dismissed claims by the Nigerian junta that Nigeria is being used as a French staging post to destabilize the Sahelian country.
When it comes to foreign base, we do not have. Whether any country, there is no foreign base in Nigeria. And the reasons are also not far-fetched. We do not want our country to be a ground for proxy war. You accept one person, the enemy of that person will start following you. That is proxy war. We don't want that. So anywhere you hear anybody talking like that as a distraction. I heard one of the African leaders say something like that. That's a distraction from him tackling the problem in his country.
While the last may not have been heard about the issue, the federal government says troops will continue to target terrorists in the country.
In other reports now, the federal government says it will launch the Labor Employment and Empowerment Program in January of 2025. The program aims to skill up and empower the youth with revenue-generated system and a job recreation model to achieve zero hunger. Joke Adisa has more.
The role of the Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment and Governance is to develop and promote productive employment generation. The ministry says it has identified critical challenges hindering its optimal performance to fully achieve its mandate and the renewed hope agenda of the current administration. It is in response to these challenges that the ministry has come up with a program it is optimistic will assist the government to attain its goal. It's the end of the year, and ministries, departments, and agencies of government are taking stock of their activities and achievements. The Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Nkiruka Onyejiocha, oversees the new program. At this interactive meeting with labor reporters, the minister says the launch of the program is a priority for Mr. President in the new year.
We are prepared to launch the leave by January. So I said that it's better to let you know so that we don't leave people guessing and then trying to put motives behind it. The truth of the matter is because the president's schedule was very tight and couldn't accommodate it now. But he's promised that by January we will launch the league.
The session is also an opportunity for the minister to respond to threats by the National Assembly not to entertain any budget for the ministry 2025 over failure to defend past budgets. The minister, who is also a former member of the House of Representatives, apologizes to the parliament.
I use this medium to plead with the parliament that nobody will question their authority to oversight. It's a constitutional mandate that I expected that they should fulfill. And I will be part of the people that should help them to fulfill their mandate. So I apologize on behalf of the ministry and assure them that we will reach out to them and let them give us a second chance.
LEAP seeks to catalyze financing and collaboration in the job and employment sector to improve productivity, ensure job creation, revenue generation, and promote local outsourcing of talents. Joke Adsa, TVC News, Abuja.
Still in Abuja, the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons says it is ready to resettle refugees and asylum seekers living in the Federal Capital Territory, as well as in resettlement cities in other states. Federal Commissioner Tijani Ahmed said this at a town hall meeting with refugees and asylum seekers in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. According to him, with the high cost of living in the FCT, it will be difficult for refugees to get the basic needs of life. And so the resettlement city in Kefi, Nasarawa State, which is situated in the north-central part of the country, is open to as many that are willing to move and live there.
We've just completed the renovation of that city. When they cry that they are making here to say they don't have where to live, or they are not able to couldn't pay their rent, it's better for them to come and stay where we have a free accommodation for them in Kefi, which is just about 60 kilometers away from Abuja. In the center there and the city there, we have all the necessary infrastructure there.
I've been in Nigeria for 4 years. I've almost felt like I'm home because there's some basic needs that I basically had it easy as a refugee. For example, having an accommodation, having education, because I'm a refugee here, but I came with my niece. She had a free primary school education as though as a refugee.